Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. In this video, we'll be having a quick exercise number 4 in our Euclidean geometry playlist on triangles. So let's go straight into it. For our first question we have, if this is a right-angled triangle, mark the sides and angles accordingly. And if you recall, a right-angled triangle is a triangle that has one 90-degree angle. We are not told anything further on. That means we don't have any equal angles or any equal sides. So let's mark our triangle accordingly. So because it's a right angle triangle, we look for the angle that should look like a 90-degree, and in this case is the angle J. And we know that the side opposite the 90-degree angle is called the hypotenuse. I'm going to label it H and is unique. And then we have JH, so this hypotenuse is different from JH and is also different from JI. So all these sides are different because we're not told that any of these sides are equal to each other. So far we have marked our sides and one angle, which is our 90-degree. So let's mark our remaining two angles because a triangle has 3 angles. So angle H will be different from angle J, and angle I will be different from angle J and H. So this is how you would label or mark the sides and angles accordingly in a right angled triangle that we don't have more information about. It's just a right angled triangle. Let's move on to the next question. If this is an isosceles triangle, mark the sides and angles accordingly. So if you recall again, an isosceles triangle is a triangle that has 2 equal sides. So let's mark that, 2 equal sides. And we say that if a triangle has 2 equal sides, then the opposite angles, so the opposite angles to this one will be that one, and the opposite angles to that one will be that one, J and H will be equal to each other. So the opposite angles of the equal sides will be equal to each other, meaning angle H and J will be equal to each other. So we've marked it accordingly. But then we still haven't marked angle I and angle H and J. And those will be different from the rest. So this one will have 2 lines stating that HJ is not equal to IJ and is not equal to HI. And we'll mark that angle with another symbol, which is a dot. So looking at this, we can see that the triangle has HI and IJ equal to each other because they have the same number of lines on them. And we can see that angle H and angle J has 2 crosses, green crosses, meaning they're equal to each other. So in an isosceles triangle, if 2 sides are equal, then the 2 opposite angles are equal to each other. Let's have a look at our next question. If this is an scalene triangle, mark the sides and angles accordingly. And if you recall again, scalene triangles, in a scalene triangle, all angles and all sides are different from each other. So let's mark that accordingly. So if H has a dot, a yellow dot, then J will have a green dot, meaning they're different from each other. And angle I will have a cross, a red cross. And as you can see, they are all different from each other because they have different colors and different symbols. Then let's mark our sides accordingly. Because they are all different from each other, this one will have 1 line, the other one will have 2 lines, and the other one will have 3 lines, meaning the length of HI is different from the length of JI, and the length of JI is different from all the other sides in the triangle. So in a scalene triangle, all angles and all sides are different from each other. Let's have a look at our next question. So solve for the unknowns. And in this case, we are required to solve for an angle. And the angle is the unknown. So our angle that is missing is angle B, which is substituted by the letter X. From our previous video, we introduced the rule that all angles in a triangle should add up to 180 degrees. So let's write that down. So this would be our answer. So we have that 60 60 degrees. I'm not going to do the 60 degrees because I don't have the symbol at the moment, but it's 60 degrees plus x plus 90 degrees is equals to 180 degrees with the symbol, the circle in the air. And most would say, why did I substitute that box to be 90? And we say that's the symbol for a 90-degree angle. So whenever you see a box in a shape, that means that's a 90-degree angle. So we just substituted that with the box. So 60 plus 90 plus x should give us 180 degrees always. Why? Because sum, and you always need to write your reasoning. So sum of angles in a triangle, and that's it. Sum of angles in a triangle always adds up to 118. That's what we have just stated. And in this case, we can see that x is our only unknown, so we can just solve for x. So x is equals to, I just made x the subject of the formula, so 180, and all the other 90 and 60 will go the other side and become a minus. So 180 minus 60 minus 90 is 90, minus 60 is 30. So x is equals to 30 degrees. In this question, we are required to solve for the unknowns, and I assume in this case the unknowns are the angles. So we have A, B, and C, and we only have one angle, which is angle B, and it's equals to 40 degrees. And looking at this triangle, I can see that this is an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle is a triangle that has two equal sides. In this case, AB is equals to BC because it has the same number of lines on them, meaning they're equal to each other. And if you recall, in an isosceles triangle, the two opposite sides are equal to the angles that are opposite the equal sides are equal to each other. So if BC is the side, then the opposite angle is angle A, which is equals to each other, which is equals to x, I mean. And AB is equal opposite side will be C. So angle A and angle C will be equal to each other because this is an isosceles triangle. So let me just label that with the same marking, x and x. And to solve for our unknown, which is x, we just have to say 40 degrees plus x degrees plus x degrees is equals to 180. Why? Because sum of angles in a triangle. So sum of angles in a triangle. So all angles in a triangle always add up to 180. And we can see that x and x are like terms, so we can make them x plus x is equals to 2x is equals to 180 degrees. And putting x on one side, or making x subject of the formula, we have 180 minus 40, which is equals to 140. And if we divide 140 degrees by 2, we get that x is equals to 70 degrees. So we can then substitute our x with 70 degrees because we've just solved for x. So this is going to be 70 degrees and 70 degrees. So we only got to solve this triangles, angles, only because we knew what an isosceles triangle looks like and what does it mean when a triangle is an isosceles triangle. Let's have a look at our next question. Solve for the unknowns. And in this case, we are also looking at unknowns, which are angles. So let's label our angles accordingly. Because we can see that this is an equilateral triangle. Why do we say that? Because all sides are equal. And if all sides are equal, that means all angles are also equal. So let's mark them x because they're equal to each other. Then we write our equation again. So x plus the x on angle x plus the x on angle z is equals to 180 degrees. Y, sum of angles in a triangle. So sum of angles in a triangle. Then we can see that x and x and x are like terms, so we can add them together and we get 3x is equals to 180 degrees. And if we make x the subject of the formula, we have 180, and if this 3 goes over to the other side, it's 180 divided by 3, which is 60 degrees. Meaning all the angles in this triangle x, y, z are all equals to 60 degrees. So let's just substitute that 60, 60, 60. And if we add 60 plus 60, we get 120. 120 plus the other 60 degrees is equals to 180 degrees. So we are on the correct path. And that is it for this video. Thank you all for watching. See you in our next video as we discuss congruency and similarities. Bye.